Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to your wealth class on TV. I'm Abayomi Obabolujo. So we got a lot to do this afternoon, but basically we are going to be looking at the way you could make use of high, low prices of equities to determine which you could invest in as we speak. Meanwhile, the all-share index of the Nigerian Stock Exchange is still struggling for life as we speak. Early today, the market actually began to show signs of resistance, which is what we are also going to be focusing our time on this platform today to do. Our concentration would actually be on those equities that are currently resisting losses, despite the fact that there are so many others that are currently easily giving up, and then their prices began to decline, or we've seen decline in price from the height of this year. And as we speak, quite a number of them had lost everything they ever made in appreciation between the high and the low. So currently on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, the all-share index is down marginally 0.01%. Other key indicators, which include NSE 30, down 0.09%, which is still relatively better than what we saw last week. Recall, last week was definitely not a good week at the market arena. Of the 5 trading sessions, losses were recorded for the first 4 trading sessions between Monday and Thursday of last week, but we saw a rebound on Friday. And from the way I could see, the market is moving so far so good today. It is as if that rebound might be extended till today. But we wait to see how the market is going to close, because as we speak now, we still have close to 2 hours plus or minus for the market today to round off. Now, the other key indicators that I often use to gauge market performances are NSE pension, where the big-time local institutional investors dwell, is down marginally 0.01%. The major index NSE ASI down 0.01%, but NSE pension up marginally 0.01%, whereas NSE premium index up 0.37%. NSE premium index are those equities that are just about 7 of them, which they, according to the categorization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, are the premium. If you just decide to stay with them, the probability that at the end of the day you will make a lot of money stands sure. So those equities that are currently leading on the percentage gainers chart are those that we have taken time, either on the radio this morning. Aruna and I did extensive analysis on some of these equities that are currently selling low. All right. So if you are not following us on the radio, if you are in Lagos, I guess you should do so. Radio 103.5 FM, 9 to 9:15 in the morning. So these equities that are currently on the highest percentage gainers chart include Honeywell Flour Mill. It's leading the market with a growth of 6.47%. UBA, we have told you that UBA is currently up 5.41%. Union Diagnostics, that was not on our peak, because again, for now, I'm not going to pick Union Diagnostics. We participated actively in the private placement of that equity in 2007, but the management of the organization and also their board did not do well at all. But recently it is said that they have paid back virtually all the debts they owed. Well, to me, I think they just decided to become bigger, as at the time they came and they were begging that we help them raise fund for this organization. If I'm not mistaken, the managing director rode a Camry to the office. I think the one they call, is it Mosul now? But eventually when the money got to his hand, all of them, including the top management staff, actually came to our seminar with brand new Prado Jeep. Anyway, that is the case for another time. All right, so looking at those equities that are still making waves on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange now, they include WAPIC, UCAP, Oando, Zenith, Nigerian Breweries, and of course Access Bank. Quickly, we look at those that are currently declining. They include Standard Alliance, Transcorp, Aiko Insurance, Lasaco, Diamond Bank, FCMB, GTB, and UACN. We will continue to update you at intervals as the program progresses and the market also progresses in trading. Meanwhile, we look at the performances of equities on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange last week. Well, if I really do not have so much time, but I will quickly look at those equities that made wave. They include Law Union, 18.52% in 1 week. Unity Bank, Sky Bank, Union Diagnostic, Len Africa, Wema, UPL, and Transcorp, Lasaco, and Jaiz. These were those equities that emerged best performer last week, and that tells you that irrespective of what the market is doing at any point in time, as some are losing, some definitely will be gaining. It might occur that at the end of the day, there might be more losers and gainers, but then we still saw a situation that, irrespective of the fact that the market lost 5.02% last week, we still saw quite a number of gainers, as I've just read out to you now. Quickly, we look at the general overview of the market. Market capitalization down 5.02%. All-share index down 5.02%. Number of gainers in a whole week, Monday through Friday, only 13 when compared with 33 of the previous week. That was a decline, 60.61%. Number of losers, 58 in 1 week, as against 13 gainers. And in the previous week, there were 39 losers. That will not be a good performance at all. Number of equities that remained unchanged. They said, no, we are not going to give up. That is not to say that from the first day that week and the last day they did not move. It was also possible that they moved, all right, either down or up, but they ended up where they started the week. So they ended the week unchanged, 98. A number, value of equities, total value of equities that were traded last week, 18.329%. That increased. Then deals, 16,896. That also increased. Volume, 960.94 million. That also increased. Right? So it means that in a way the market was struggling. All these major performers that eventually led to improvement in value, improvement in deals, improvement in volume actually happened on Friday. Now, what I'm going to do very briefly before we move to another segment this afternoon is to look at the rate, the way, the manner at which some equities had resisted losses. If you look at major indicators, for 4 or 5 months, the Nigerian equity market had been down. As a matter of fact, the only month that the market performed well so far so good this year was January, and that was where we saw most of these equities appearing or arriving at their highest prices. So far so good this year. Between then and now, we have seen consistent losses. Now, in the midst of this decline, there have been equities that have refused to give in so easily to decline to the BM in the market. That is how you measure strength. That is not to say that they really have not experienced a number or a measure of decline, but they resisted losing frivolously as others had done in the market. And so I decided to list out about 10 of them. I'm going to be fast. What I did was to look at the current prices of these equities, and I also gauged the current prices of these equities with their highest level in the year, and I now arrived at what percentage of their highest level in the year have these equities lost now that we are seeing them as at last week Friday. See, and I listen, I'm not going to tell you to buy. Why? Yes, they're coming to the market for a right issue. That is what is responsible for the price performance. But they also have said they're coming to the market for share reconstruction. As far as I'm concerned, someone might be angry. To me, that is seemingly fraudulent. We'll talk about that at another time. So it has lost only 3% of what its highest price level this year had been. Fixing Healthcare PLC. Yet the market is weak, but is refusing to come down. Measure of strength. It has only given up 3.85% of its highest level. Even if you had bought at 6 naira 24 kobo at the highest level this year, what you will be losing as at last week Friday was just marginal 3.85%. Air Service, which is now called New Rest, if you bought at the highest price this year, 5 naira 95 kobo, you will be losing as at last Friday only 5.88%. So you could see Equities. Equities, so far so good this year, gave the best result in dividend payout relative to price, and also it came with 1-for-1 bonus. Can I remember if a company has given 1-for-1 bonus this year? It really readily will not come to mind, but Equities did it, and so significantly the equity has done so well. What we might even be calculating as the relationship between the highest price this year and the current price would just be what was deducted when the price of the equity was adjusted for dividend payout and scrip issue, which is bonus. You can see Name Insurance also resisting losses. Better Glass resisting losses. The one that should be attractive is Nesu, irrespective of the high price of Nesu reaching 1,615 naira on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So far so good this year at 1,370 naira last week Friday. It has just given up 15.17% from its highest level. So far so good this year. And let us see those equities that really had given in freely to decline in price. They include Japo. Japo at the time rose to 97 kobo. It came to 20 kobo, but it's currently selling at 23 kobo. So if you bought at 97 kobo earlier this year, wow, you will be calculating 76.69% decline between the high and the low. Forte Oil is 66% below the highest price in the year, but the equity is seemingly looking good now because at a price of 17 naira 50 kobo. Remembering that some people bought it at 52 naira 50 kobo. What do you stand to lose? I do not see it losing another 60%. If it does that, it comes to maybe the price of bonds on the street. All right, it becomes very attractive. Diamond Bank, of course, there is not positive information. There are more of negative information. affecting the price of Diamond Bank than positive on the floor of the stock exchange. So far so good this year. From a high price of 3.57 naira, it has given up so well, so good. Did I say so good? Well, 1.29 naira is what it is currently selling. 63.87% is the current value. Honeywell has not really done badly when it comes to reports. I think their annual general meeting should be either later this week or next week, but it has lost 60.40%. So these are what we are going to be looking at when we converge at what I call Business, Investment and Leadership Academy with me this Saturday. You must endeavor to be there, because you see, when will the market recover? That should be the question in the minds of most investors. Maybe not in the mind, maybe in the mouth, maybe in both mind and mouth. The question will be, when is this market going to recover? Now, let me give you the way it will work. Now, first, when the Q3 reports begin to hit the market anytime between the middle of October extending to November. As a matter of fact, the last trading session in October is bound to see or witness quite a number of results released to the market. The market will definitely rebound so long as those results become positive. But that will not mean that the market will be recovering, because the major factor against the market will still subsist. All right, so we expect the earnings to come between October and November. So if anybody is going to lead you now on what to do, it is the fellow that should be able to tell you what the possibilities are in the earnings that are being expected in these companies effective middle of October to the end of November. Again, thereafter, the market is going to go down, rest. The end of the year will be there. But again, we need to remember that all the elections that everybody is fighting for, that everybody is afraid for, somebody is supporting who, nobody is supporting this, there's going to be war, HSBC is talking, and then whatever, all right, it's going to come in between February 16 and 2nd of March 2019. So now, before this election comes in, that is when you should actually begin to take strategic position in equities on the release of their third quarter, because at that time we'll have seen first, second quarter reports, and the market will be gearing up for what the audited report in all those organizations will be. Incidentally, almost as soon as 19 will be over, the market is going to be greeting and when the audited report of quoted companies. All right, and so we expect to see a major decision at the market arena between February and March of 2009. So these are some of those things we are going to be discussing this Saturday. Meanwhile, September is the end of the third quarter, so you should expect portfolio reshuffling, particularly among those that are low. So it is possible that the market will do well this week and next week to round off this. The oracle has spoken. I think you've been guided. Well, we're going on a short break. We are still here. When we return, we'll be talking about you and your health, because health indeed is wealth. Don't change this television dial. I will be right back.